You tried to seduce me, admit it. He screamed that in front of my parents while hiding 8 months of cheating. I showed the screenshots at a family barbecue. I never thought I'd be writing this, but I need to get this off my chest because I'm honestly questioning my own sanity right now. My sister's husband has convinced her that I'm some kind of obsessed stalker, and it's tearing our family apart. I'm 28, moved to Austin 3 months ago for a fresh start after a brutal breakup. My sister Sarah and her husband Marcus offered to let me stay in their guest room while I get my graphic design business off the ground. I was so grateful, you know? Family helping family. Here's where it gets weird. Marcus started making comments about my screen time after the first week. I work from home, so yeah, I'm on my computer a lot. But he specifically zeroed in on the fact that I watch Twitch streams while I work. Mostly just background noise, nothing crazy. There's this one streamer I follow who's actually based here in Austin, plays indie games, seems like a decent guy. I've been watching his content for over a year, way before I even knew I'd move here. Marcus became obsessed with this. He started asking Sarah why I was always watching that guy, and whether it was normal for women my age to be so interested in internet personalities. Sarah, trying to keep the peace, asked me if maybe I could watch something else while staying there. I thought it was weird but agreed because, hey, their house, their rules. But it escalated. 2 weeks ago, I caught Marcus going through my laptop while I was in the shower. When I confronted him, he exploded. Said he was protecting his family and that my obsession with male streamers was inappropriate. He actually used the word cheating, like I was somehow betraying my non-existent boyfriend by watching gaming content. The breaking point came last weekend. There's a gaming convention happening here next month, and my friend Jake was visiting from back home. We made plans to check it out together, just for fun. When Marcus overheard, he lost his mind. Started screaming about how I moved to Austin to stalk streamers and that I was planning to throw myself at content creators at the convention. Sarah sided with him. My own sister looked me dead in the eye and said maybe Marcus had a point, that my streaming habits seemed intense, and maybe I should focus on real relationships instead of parasocial ones. I felt like I'd been slapped. Here's what really gets me. I've donated maybe $20 total to this streamer over the past year. I don't even chat in his streams most of the time. I follow probably 50 different content creators across various platforms. But Marcus has somehow convinced Sarah that I'm dangerously obsessed with this one specific guy, and that everything I do in Austin is somehow connected to trying to meet him. The final straw was yesterday. Marcus handed me a printed list of house rules that included no streaming content, limited social media use, and a requirement that I show them my phone if they ask. When I laughed and said absolutely not, he threatened to kick me out unless I get help for my addiction. I'm moving out this week. Found a sublet through a coworker, and honestly, I can't wait to get away from this insanity. But here's what's eating at me. Sarah genuinely believes I'm the problem. She keeps texting me about getting perspective and understanding their concerns. Am I crazy here, Reddit? Is watching Twitch streams while working somehow inappropriate? Is it weird that I want to go to a gaming convention? Because 3 months ago, I thought I was just a normal person who happens to enjoy gaming content, and now I'm being treated like I'm some kind of delusional stalker. The thing that really hurts is how Marcus talks about me to Sarah when he thinks I can't hear. He's convinced her that I'm mentally unstable and that my interest in streaming is a sign of deeper problems. He keeps saying I moved here for the wrong reasons and that I need professional help. I've started documenting everything because this feels so surreal. Screenshots of the rules he gave me, recordings of him going through my stuff. My friend Jake thinks Marcus is projecting something, but I don't know what that would even be. What really confuses me is that Sarah used to watch reality TV religiously, follows tons of influencers on Instagram, and has spent way more money on celebrity meet and greets than I've ever spent on streaming. But somehow my habits are the problem. I'm supposed to have dinner with my parents tomorrow to discuss the situation. Sarah called them and apparently presented this whole narrative about me being obsessed with internet strangers. I'm dreading it because I don't even know how to defend myself against accusations that feel completely disconnected from reality. So Reddit, am I missing something here? Is there some line I crossed that I'm not seeing? Or is this as weird and controlling as it feels to me? Because right now, I feel like I'm living in some alternate reality where enjoying gaming content makes me a dangerous person. Update coming soon, I'm sure, because this situation is far from over. Update 1 Jesus Christ, Reddit. Your comments on my last post opened my eyes to things I should have seen months ago. I can't believe I'm typing this, but you were right about Marcus projecting. This whole situation is so much darker than I originally thought. First, the dinner with my parents went exactly as badly as I expected. Sarah had already called them with her version of events, painting me as this unstable person who moved to Austin to chase after internet strangers. My mom kept asking if I was okay mentally and whether I needed help. My dad just looked confused and kept saying he didn't understand what Twitch even was, but if Marcus was concerned, maybe there was something to it. I tried explaining that I literally just watch gaming streams while I work, the same way people watch Netflix or listen to podcasts. But Sarah had already poisoned the well. She told them I'd been secretive about my online activities and that Marcus caught me researching the streamer's personal life. Which is complete bullshit, by the way. I follow his public social media like thousands of other people do. That's not research, that's just normal fan behavior. The worst part was when Sarah said, Emma's always been obsessive about things. Remember her boy band phase in high school? Like, seriously. Comparing teenage interests to adult entertainment choices. But my parents just nodded along because Sarah's the responsible older sister who never gave them problems. Here's where it gets really fucked up, though. After I moved out last week, my childhood friend Jake came to help me unpack. He's a software developer, super logical guy, and he started asking questions about Marcus that made me uncomfortable. Like, why was Marcus so interested in my online activity specifically? Why was he going through my laptop? Why did he care so much about one random streamer out of all the content I consume? Jake pointed out something I'd been too close to see. Marcus wasn't just monitoring my streaming habits. He'd been tracking everything I did online. My search history, my social media activity, even my work emails. Jake found traces of monitoring software on my laptop that I never installed. When I confronted Sarah about this, she got defensive and admitted that Marcus had asked her to keep an eye on my internet usage because he was worried about me. She'd been reporting back to him about what I was doing online, who I was talking to, even what freelance projects I was working on. My own sister had been spying on me for months. But here's the kicker, and this is where your comments about projection really hit home. Sarah let slip that Marcus has been having problems with inappropriate online relationships himself. She tried to backtrack immediately, but the damage was done. When I pressed her, she admitted that Marcus had been caught messaging other women on social media multiple times during their marriage. Suddenly, everything made sense. Marcus wasn't concerned about my online behavior, he was paranoid that I might discover his. He was going through my devices looking for evidence that I was doing what he was doing. The streaming thing was just a convenient excuse to monitor and control my internet access. I asked Sarah why she didn't tell me about Marcus's history with online affairs, and she said she didn't want to burden me with their marital problems. But she was perfectly fine letting him accuse me of inappropriate behavior while knowing he was actually guilty of it himself. The more I dug into this, the more disturbing it became. Sarah admitted that Marcus has been isolating her from friends for years, always finding reasons why her friendships were unhealthy or threatening to their marriage. He convinced her to quit her book club because he said the women there were bad influences. He made her delete Facebook for a while because he claimed she was spending too much time talking to old friends. When I pointed out that this sounded like controlling behavior, Sarah got angry and said I didn't understand marriage, that compromise was normal. But then she started crying and admitted that she sometimes feels like she can't do anything without Marcus's approval. Jake helped me realize that Marcus saw me as a threat because I represented independence. I was living my life without asking permission, working from home, enjoying my hobbies, making my own decisions. That probably drove him crazy because he spent years conditioning Sarah to check with him before doing anything. The streaming accusations were never really about streaming. They were about establishing control over another woman in his house, and when that didn't work, he escalated to trying to turn my family against me. I'm documenting everything now. Screenshots of the monitoring software, recordings of conversations where Sarah admits to spying on me, evidence of Marcus's own online activities that I probably shouldn't have been able to access, but he's terrible with password security. My parents are starting to see the bigger picture, especially after I showed them proof that Marcus had been going through my work files. My dad was furious about that. He's old school about privacy and respect for other people's property. Sarah's been texting me constantly, alternating between apologizing and defending Marcus. She says he's just protective and that I'm making this bigger than it needs to be. But she also admitted that she's been unhappy for a long time and didn't realize how much Marcus controlled her daily life until I pointed it out. The really sick part is that Marcus is still trying to control the narrative. He's been telling extended family that I seduced him into looking through my devices by acting suspicious. He's claiming that I deliberately left my laptop open to tempt him into checking my activity. The victim blaming is unreal, but I'm not the same person who wrote that first post 2 weeks ago. I'm angry now, and I'm not going to let this slide. Marcus destroyed my relationship with my sister, turned my parents against me, and tried to gaslight me into thinking I was crazy, all to cover up his own shitty behavior. I'm planning something for next month's family barbecue. My cousin's birthday party that everyone attends, including extended family and family friends. Marcus loves being the center of attention at these things, playing the concerned brother-in-law who's just looking out for everyone. I think it's time everyone knew exactly what kind of person he really is. Stay tuned, Reddit. This isn't over. Update 2, I thought I was angry before, but what I discovered this week has me seeing red. Your DMs and comments have been keeping me sane, because this situation has gotten so much worse and so much clearer at the same time. First, the good news. My freelance business is taking off. I landed a major contract with a tech startup here in Austin, which means I can afford my own place permanently. The irony isn't lost on me that Marcus spent months claiming I was unstable and obsessed with internet strangers, while I was actually building a career in digital design. But whatever, his opinion stopped mattering the day I moved out. Now for the nuclear bomb I accidentally stumbled across. Last week, Sarah called me crying. Marcus had gone out of town for a work conference, and she was having a panic attack about being alone in the house. She asked if I could come over and stay the night, just for company. Against my better judgment, I said yes because she sounded genuinely terrified. While I was there, Sarah's laptop died and she needed to check her work email urgently. She asked if she could use Marcus's computer, which he'd left at home. I helped her log in, and that's when I saw it. Reddit, this man has been having a full-blown emotional affair for over 8 months. Not just messaging random women like Sarah had mentioned before. I'm talking daily conversations, intimate photos, detailed discussions about leaving their respective spouses, plans to meet up when his work travels align with her schedule. The woman lives in Dallas, works at the same insurance company, and they've been talking about him transferring there to be closer to her. But here's the part that made me physically sick. He's been using me as his cover story. In his messages to this woman, he complains constantly about his psychotic sister-in-law who moved in and started stalking men online. He tells her that I'm mentally unstable, that I've been trying to seduce him, that Sarah won't kick me out because she feels sorry for me. He literally wrote, "Emma's obsession with internet men is so disturbing. It makes me appreciate having a real woman like you in my life." He's been painting himself as the victim of my supposed advances while simultaneously cheating on my sister. The manipulation is so fucking twisted I couldn't believe what I was reading. Sarah saw everything. She stood behind me reading over my shoulder, and I watched her face just crumble. She kept saying, "No, no, no," under her breath like she could make it not real by denying it. The worst part was a message from 3 weeks ago where Marcus told this woman that he was finally getting rid of the Emma problem, and that once I moved out, he could focus on planning their future together. He literally celebrated destroying my relationship with my family as a step toward leaving his wife. Sarah broke down completely. She admitted that she'd known something was wrong for months, but convinced herself it was just work stress. She said Marcus had been distant, critical, and constantly picking fights about stupid things. Now she realized he was trying to make her miserable so he could justify leaving. But then she said something that made me want to scream. Maybe if I'd been a better wife, he wouldn't have needed to find someone else. I lost it. I told her that Marcus didn't cheat because she wasn't good enough. He cheated because he's a selfish asshole who wanted to have his cake and eat it too. He used me as a scapegoat to distract from his own behavior, and he'd been emotionally abusing her for years to make her easier to control and eventually abandon. Sarah oscillated between rage and self-blame all night. One minute she was furious and ready to confront him. The next she was making excuses and wondering if she could fix things if she just tried harder. It was heartbreaking to watch. I took screenshots of everything. Every message, every photo, every plan they'd made. I also found evidence that Marcus has been hiding money in a separate account, probably preparing to leave Sarah financially stranded when he finally makes his move. When Marcus came back from his trip, he was in an unusually good mood. Started being nice to Sarah, bringing her flowers, suggesting they plan a vacation. Classic cheater behavior, love bombing her because he felt guilty about the weekend he'd probably spent planning his exit strategy. Sarah confronted him that night. I wasn't there, but she called me afterwards sobbing. Marcus denied everything at first, then admitted to just talking to his coworker but claimed it wasn't an affair. When Sarah showed him the screenshots I'd taken, he exploded. He accused me of hacking his computer, violating his privacy, and trying to destroy his marriage out of jealousy. He told Sarah that I'd probably manipulated the screenshots somehow, that I was obsessed with ruining their happiness. Even caught red-handed, he was still trying to make me the villain. Sarah, to her credit, didn't buy it this time. She told him she wanted him out of the house while she figured out what to do. Marcus refused, said it was his house too, and I had no right to interfere in their marriage. That's when he made his biggest mistake. He called my parents and told them that I'd hacked his personal accounts and fabricated evidence to break up his marriage. He said I was dangerously obsessed with destroying their family and that they needed to get me help before I did something worse. My parents called me freaking out, asking if I'd really hacked Marcus's computer. When I explained what actually happened and offered to show them the evidence, they realized Marcus was lying. My dad was particularly pissed that Marcus had tried to manipulate them again. Now Marcus is doubling down on the crazy. He's telling anyone who will listen that I'm a master manipulator who seduced him into cheating just so I could expose him. He's claiming that I planned this whole thing from the beginning, that I moved to Austin specifically to destroy his marriage. The delusion is incredible. This man cheated on his wife for 8 months, emotionally abused her for years, and tried to gaslight an entire family into thinking I was mentally unstable. But somehow I'm the mastermind villain in his story. Sarah filed for divorce yesterday. She's staying with our parents while she figures out her next steps. Marcus is still in their house, still trying to convince mutual friends that he's the victim of my psychological manipulation. But here's the thing, Reddit, I'm done being defensive. I'm done trying to prove I'm not crazy or obsessed or manipulative. Marcus destroyed my family relationships and put my sister through hell, all to cover up his own shitty behavior. My cousin's birthday barbecue is this weekend. Big family gathering, all the relatives will be there, including the ones Marcus has been feeding his lies to for months. He's planning to attend because he thinks he can still control the narrative. I've prepared a little presentation. Screenshots, timeline, evidence of financial hiding, the whole story laid out clearly for everyone to see. I'm not going to ambush anyone or cause unnecessary drama. I'm just going to calmly present the facts and let people draw their own conclusions. Marcus thinks he's won because he managed to turn some family members against me initially. He has no idea what's coming. Sarah knows about my plan and supports it. She's tired of protecting him and wants the truth out there. She said she's ashamed that she let him manipulate her into believing his lies about me, and she wants to make it right. One more update coming after this weekend, Reddit. This ends now. Update 3, Reddit, I promised you one final update, and holy shit, do I have a story to tell. The family barbecue happened, Marcus got exactly what he deserved, and my life has completely turned around. So the barbecue was at my cousin Maria's house, about 30 people total. All the aunts, uncles, cousins, basically everyone Marcus had been feeding his bullshit story to for months. He showed up acting like nothing had happened, playing the devoted husband whose mentally unstable sister-in-law had tried to destroy his marriage. I waited until after we ate, when everyone was relaxed in the backyard. Then I stood up and said I had something important to share with the family. Marcus immediately got nervous, saying I shouldn't air private family business. But my dad, who was still pissed about Marcus lying to him, told him to sit down and let me speak. I kept it simple and factual. I brought out my laptop with a timeline of screenshots Marcus's 8-month affair, his plans to leave Sarah, and most importantly, the messages where he bragged about getting rid of the Emma problem and called me psychotic to cover his own tracks. The silence was deafening. You could hear people's jaws dropping as they read his messages about me being a crazy stalker, while he was planning to abandon his wife for another woman. Marcus tried claiming I'd hacked his accounts and manipulated the evidence. But my Uncle Tony, who works in IT, confirmed the screenshots were legitimate. Then Marcus completely lost it. Started screaming that I'd seduced him into cheating just so I could expose him, that I was a master manipulator who'd planned everything from the beginning. He actually said I moved to Austin specifically to destroy his marriage because I was jealous of what Sarah and I have. My cousin David started laughing and said, "Dude, you think Emma made you cheat? That's not how cheating works." That's when Sarah finally found her voice. She stood up, looked Marcus dead in the eye, and said, "The only person who manipulated me was you. For 5 years, you made me feel crazy for questioning you, and then you used my sister as a scapegoat while you planned to leave me for another woman." The family rallied around Sarah immediately. My dad told Marcus he had 5 minutes to leave before he'd physically remove him. As Marcus was leaving, he shouted, "You'll all see what Emma really is when she destroys your lives too. She's sick and she won't stop until she ruins everyone." My cousin's husband, who's a cop, told Marcus that if he ever contacted any family member again, he'd be looking at restraining orders. Marcus finally left, calling us all fucking idiots for falling for my manipulation. The aftermath was incredible. Family members apologized and shared their own stories about Marcus's controlling behavior over the years. Everyone realized he'd been systematically isolating Sarah and testing boundaries with the whole family. So where are we now, 3 months later? Sarah's divorce is almost finalized. Marcus got fired after his affair partner's husband reported them to HR. The affair partner dumped him when she realized he was actually leaving his wife. He's living in a studio apartment, still telling people his family turned against him because of one psychotic woman's manipulation. Sarah's in therapy and thriving. She's reconnecting with friends, dating again, and moving to Austin next month to start fresh near me. As for me, my freelance business is booming. I'm dating someone normal who doesn't monitor my internet usage, and I went to that gaming convention Marcus forbade me from attending. Had a great time, bought some indie games, normal human activities. I still watch that streamer sometimes while I work. Turns out you can enjoy entertainment content without being a stalker. Who knew? I've learned that gaslighting is real and insidious, that abusers project their behavior onto victims, and that I'm stronger than I thought. 6 months ago, I was questioning my sanity. Now I see Marcus's accusations said everything about him and nothing about me. Marcus thought he could destroy my relationships to cover his shitty behavior. Instead, he lost everything while I gained clarity, strength, and a deeper bond with my family. Sometimes the trash takes itself out. Sometimes justice actually happens. And sometimes the person trying to destroy you ends up destroying themselves instead. Thanks for the ride, Reddit. You helped save my sanity and my family.